Welcome back to the channel, buddies. Today we are going to be making a smoking or sheared dress with about 3 layers step. So this is 3 yards of Ankara fabric, and this is what I'm going to be using at the moment, but on the long run I'm going to end up using about 4 yards. So these 3 yards, I'm going to be measuring the wideness and the length of what I need for the sheared part of the dress. And how I'm going to be determining how to get the sheared part of the dress is to measure the largest part of my body. This is for my client actually, so the biggest part of the client's body is the hips. So I'm going to be making a calculation of dividing the hips by 4, and then whatever I have, I'm going to be adding about 5 inches. So 44 divided by 4, which is her hips, we have 11 inches. And then I'm going to be adding extra 5 inches for more allowance, because this is a sheared or smoky effect we want, so we would need more of that. So I'm adding 5 more inches to give us 16 inches. So I have 16 inches. After arranging the fabric equally, I'm confirming the 60 inches that I need for the wideness of the fabric. So I'm going to be drawing a border line across the both ends of the fabric. That is going to be our start line or our shoulder line, from which we are going to be starting all other measurements we would be needing for the shirt part of the dress. So now I have the border line clearly marked.
Every night are we
It's needed. So from here, I'm going to be using her chest measurements, which is your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. When I did that, what I have is about 8.5. So 8.5 is the chest line, and that's what I'm going to be starting all the measurements from. 8.5 is the chest line, so I'm going to be starting the rest of the measurements. Her arc length is about 18.5 from what I got, but I'm going to be doing 18 inches. This is 18 inches. I'm going to be adding about 3 extra allowance, which is 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to also add about 2 extra inches. I'm going to make it 2.5 just to add it back to add the arc back to the waistline. So I would just follow an accurate measurement, because I wasn't the one that made the measurement, so I'll just follow it up. So I have this included. So I'm going to be reeling them out.
are we? Paradise seems so far away. Still try to buy.
So this is what I have, and this is what I'll be cutting out.
Still try to buy myself some time to give me to
The front, and I'm going to be using this as well to cut the back. This is for the front, so I'll use this to cut for the back as well. So I'll drag this up and use it to lay on it. I'll just sit and cut.
All I want is you.
So this is what we have for the front and for the back. This is for the back, and this is for the front.
Staying up till we want to. Tell you.
This is what we have for both the front and the back. This is the back. This is the wrong side. So we're going to be starting with the shearing, and this is the front. Already said this is the wrong side, so I'm going to be shearing all through. That is the first thing we're going to be doing.
Tell you what, I bet that we could see it new. I wanna let you do nothing to do. Let's throw all our worries away. I know that it.
So right here, the 1 inch is what I am going to be folding. at the edge of the cloth is what I'm going to be putting. Then now I'm going to be rolling all the lines for the sharing, and that's what I'm going to be doing half-inch interval. So half-inch is what I'm going to be using to share. Half-inch, half-inch. This is what I have after running all the marks. So now I'm going to combine them all across. So this is what I have for the back, and this is what I have for the front after lining all equally. This is what I have. So I'm going to first of all fold in the edges. So I'm going to first of all fold in the edges for the front and the back, then I'll be back. And I got this white elastic thread. I wasn't able to get red, but since we have white in the fabric, so I got that. This is my bobbin and this is my shuttle. So I'm going to be adjusting the shuttle to open up that area a little bit to accommodate the thread, because the thread is bigger than the normal sewing thread we use. So I was supposed to use my screwdriver, but it was too big for that little thing there, so I had to use something that I could use to adjust it, and the only thing I could use at that moment to adjust it was my needle. So you just adjust it backwards and that's it. So now I'm going to be threading the thread into the bobbin, and as you can see, I'm using my hands to do that. This is what I have afterwards. You don't have to drag, you just need to let it flow. Let the thread follow the rhythm of your hand and let it flow. Don't drag, just do this, and don't do it with your machine, do it with your hand. Now I'm done, and I've also folded the edges. Now I'm going to be inserting the thread, that is the shuttle, and you're going to be doing it the normal way after you're done setting it up the way I showed it earlier on. So you bring it out the normal way you bring out your thread, and for the upper part you're going to be using the normal thread we use for sewing, this normal thread, and you're going to start sewing after all the setup. I was not able to use the part that I lined up because I later changed the thread to a black one, so I had to use the right side of the fabric, and then I will start sharing.
Cause we were just friends, and now it's something far over. And I bet that we could find a way closer.
And this is where I've gotten to so far. For this sherry or smoking effects, you just need to take your time, don't rush, take your time and do it. So for how I finish up the edges, I leave my needle in and then sew a little bit down to the amount that I need, and then I turn it to the other side and I continue the sewing without cutting the thread. So this is what I was able to get after working on this. You guys, this is a lot of work. I didn't know, because using a manual is different from using an industrial machine, and it's the first time I'm using it from an industrial machine for my client, and I went through a lot. There's a lot we do not know about using this on the industrial machine, and trust me, I searched and searched and searched the reason why my industrial machine was not doing it properly yesterday, and I didn't see any reasonable results until I had to use chat gpt. Chat is your friend, like chat is your paddy. Chat helped me to get this result done. So it was not easy, but I conquered, and ChatGPT helped me to get exactly what I was looking for. So yeah, this is the smoky effect or sherry effect I was looking for, and I was able to get it done for the front and the back. This is the back and this is the front. Now I will be working on the lining for the down part, and now I'll be cutting out the amount that is needed for the down part. So to get this, I'm dividing the hips by 4, and then I'll be adding 5 inches to whatever I got after dividing the hips, and then wherever I get after adding the 5, I would multiply it by 4. I hope you all understand. I divided my hip, which is 44. I got 11 plus 5, I got 16. X4, I got 64. And the 64 on fold, I'll be measuring 34 on both sides, 32 on both sides, sorry. And that is what I've done. And after that, I'm going to be marking the borderline from where my measurement is going to start from. So bringing back the upper part now, I'm going to be measuring what is the full length of the dress. The full length of the dress for me is 36, and the upper part I've already gotten 21. So I'm left with 15, and then the 15 inches I'm going to be going up by 2.5 inches before I mark it on the lining. That is what I have done so far, and by that I have 13 inches, and 13 inches divided by 3, because we have 3 steps on the down part. So, and I'm going to be doing this equally. There is no bigger and smaller one, everything is going to be equal. So 13 divided by 3, I have 4.5. So I'm marking the 4.5 equally on the lining, and that is where the gathers is going to be, because I made gathers for the fabric. So I'll mark 43, and then I would rule this across all parts of the lining that is needed. And this is what I've done. I've ruled it on the both side of the lining, and I'm going to be cutting 4 pieces by 45 inches of length. That is 8 inches by 45 inches. That's what I'm going to be cutting. I'm going to be cutting 4 flaps for the gathers for the first one. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So the wideness is in 8 inches, and the length is by 45, which is the length of the normal African print. And I'm going to be getting 4 of 45, and I'm going to be combining it. That is what I'm doing currently. So I'm marking the 8 inches, which is for the wideness, and I'm going to be connecting with a straight line so I can get the cut very accurate. So that is what I would do, and I will do it for the 3 steps that would be using. I'm not going to do one bigger than one. Everything is going to be equal. So this is the first flap. I'm going to be cutting here open as well.
But I can still like we're only friends.
I'll be using same length for all the flaps, but I'll be using the same length for everything, even the same amount, 4 for all the steps of the fabric. I was able to cut equally. That is 8 inches in length, and then the wideness is 4 pieces, 45 times 4. That is what we have. So for all the layers, we have for 4 pieces, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is first one. Second one, we also have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So for all the layers, we have 4. So I'm now going to run gather stitch, and then the gather stitch I'm going to be running is about 1 inch, half inch, and then on the down part as well, I'm still going to be folding half inch. So these are the gathers that I've created, and I'm going to be attaching it one after the other. But first we're starting with the down part, and the gathers was made in the same length as the lining, which is 64 inches. So I gathered everything and arranged it at 64 inches. So I'm going to be placing it this way, and I'm going to be securing it with a pin, and when I sew it, I would flip it to the other side, and I'll do same for the rest. What we have after the first one. This is what it will be. So I'm going to continue with the second and the one. on top. So this is how I'm attaching it to the lining. I'll be leaving about ½ inch at the both ends before I start and finish. So I would arrange everything properly and then sew on the line that I created earlier. Attaching the first step is this is the way I would be sewing it. I don't need to turn it the other way that we did for the last two before flipping it. I'll just go directly and attach it to the waist end as well. So now I'm going to be joining the place we have joining. I already left some inches for joining at the back, and I'm going to be starting with the first one. So this is the inches I left about ½ inches on both ends, and I'm going to be using these ½ inches to join. First of all, we'll join the Ankara fabric to the African print to African print. Then I would join the the lining as well. I also left ½ inches here. This is how I will be joining the fabric first. That's the Ankara fabric first. Then I would also join the lining. But first off, you join the Ankara fabric and you do it for each step. You do it for the first one, the second one, the third one. Then you move to the lining. For the lining, you're going to be putting everything together and you're going to be sewing through all at once. And if you create your space very well, this is what you would do. You just stitch it all together at once as shown. So this is after I was done, and then you are going to be having holes at these areas that I'm going to be inserting my fingers through. So what you would do is exactly what I'm showing you. You go back to the normal way you started your stitches earlier, and then you close the holes. This is for the last step. I would sew it on it the way I'd already sewn from the previous one, just to close up the small space we have there. I'm also going to be doing it for the second one as well, and even for the last one, and we'll have a perfect one afterwards. And this is what we have after working on every part of the down. So now I'm going to be connecting the up to the down part. So how do we connect it? So you're going to get the midpoint of these two. I'm going to get the midpoint of these two, which is right here. So I'll just notch it. So now I have 4 parts. This is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So I'm going to be connecting it to the skirt, to the down part, and I'm going to be using this as the guide, this joining at the back as the guide. And we're doing, this is the right side, and I'm going to be attaching it right side to right side. So now this is the first notch. I'll attach it this way. So you see, this is the right side, so I'll attach it this way. This is the notch, and this is the back side. Use the pin to hold it down. Then I'll cross this over to this other side, which is the equal part of the other side, and I'll cross the other notch over. For stitching it, you're going to be dragging it and fitting it with the down part before you sew. This is what I've gotten after sewing. I hope you can see it. This is what we have. So yeah, I have this, which is about 3 inches and quarter in width. Then in length it's about 45 and quarter. So this is 3 and quarter. So I'm going to be cutting this as well today. So this is what I have made. The ropes are different, like the ropes are coming from the back and the front, so I have to make four for each sleeve, and I made it in belt form. So I'm going to be turning.
I just want you under the lights. I just want you when it's my time. I just want you breaking my stride. I just want you.
So I'm going to do everything for the four and I have worked on. This is the closed end, this is the open end, so I'm going to be attaching here. So I'm going to be doing 3 inches from the both sides. You'll get the sleeve. So from here I'll do 3 inches, which is here, and I'll attach one of the sleeves. This is the open end. So at the 3 inches, and this is what I got afterwards. This is our neckline. The last thing to do for a nice and neat finish on the inside is to cut out this lining on the down part, and I'm going to be cutting it all around and take it out from the down part. So this is what I have after doing that, and right now I'm going to be using my serger to overlock it. So this is what I have. You see how it looks very neat and beautiful on the inside. So this is what we have afterwards. I'm turning it to the right side so you can see the full finish of the dress. And with this we have come to the end of our smoky or shirred dress. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.